Welcome. I'm Lori Flannery. I'm the CEO of New Directions, and I want to welcome you in to the first annual um, fundraiser and virtual update for New Directions. It takes a lot of people to put something like this together. And so obviously I'll recognize them as we go through, but I wanted to give a special shout out to three of our staff who've really been the core of putting this together for our inaugural foray into the virtual world. And that is David Snyder, Marshall Anderson, and Julie Cretans. So thank you all very much for helping us with this. We have every confidence that it's going to go very, very well. I wanted to note that this is being recorded, and it is being recorded for our own purposes. We're going to keep it in our archives and potentially use material for later, but we're also doing it so that if you have friends, colleagues, family members who are unable to join us for this update and fundraiser this year, I hope that you'll share that with them. In the coming days, we are going to be able to put it on our social media. And if you're registered for this event, it will also be sent to you in a link. But anyone can request that link, and it'll just take a couple of days for us to get that up and going. So to provide you an overview of what we're going to be doing over the next hour, let me say that we're going to update you on the world as seen through the eyes of New Directions right now. We know that there's been a lot of changes in 2020 for everyone, not just us, of course. And we have been updating our constituents some through weekly messaging that we've been doing and some of the social media things that we've been doing. But we wanted to have, time dedicated just for us to sit. We don't rest on formality at New Directions. So this will be informal. I want you to feel like you can ask questions through the chat. We'll make sure that we've got people looking at that who can get to us. And if for some reason it doesn't get to us during this, please know that we will look at it, or you can follow up with us after the session as well. In a minute, we're going to be hearing from our board chair, Faith Weekly, and then we will turn our attention to our Director of Home Ownership Preservation, Max Monahan. He'll give us an update on what's going on in his world. There have been a lot of changes, and again, a lot of things that change how we're doing things, but it's going to be better going forward in the future. and it's helping people right now. So I think you'll enjoy hearing from him. Then we'll turn our attention to our Chief Operating Officer, and that's Bridget Johnson and her staff. She has a video, but then she's also going to be joining us virtually, but not in video form, live. If you have any questions about her program, you can ask those at that time. And then we have several staff members and several board members who wanted to participate in showing what New Directions means to them or why they're affiliated with New Directions. And we'll hear from staff as a cohort, as a group of selfies, and then later on in the program at the end, we'll hear from some of our current and past board members on what New Directions means to them. We really appreciate you all doing those selfies and sending them into us. I'm sure we did not use all of them. Hi, Tally. I'm sure we did not use all of them, and that's okay because we know this world is going to be like this for a while, and we will make sure that we either use them in our weekly messages or in future virtual events and updates or fundraisers or combination thereof as we go forward. We also have to have fun if we're at New Directions. You all know that if you've been around us long enough. And so as we put this together, we were saying, gosh, we really missed having Dreams of the Downs this year. And one of the favorite things, of course, it's the racing, but it's also the networking, and it's also the food, and it's also just a chance, to do something fun together and not be so serious, especially during these times. But one of the best things is the bourbon pool. And I learned my lesson the first Dreams at the Downs when the bourbon was all gone before the second race. So we've learned how to stretch that out, but we decided to take an element of that for this virtual update and fundraiser. And so we are going to also be having several bourbon pools throughout this hour. So stay tuned for that. All right, so let's get started. As you know, New Directions has enjoyed really, really good leadership from the very, very beginning. We started in 1969 from a group of committed but very informal. It was not a formal organization, members of St. William Church, which is at 13th and Oak in West Louisville. And we have grown. We became formalized in 1971. And now New Directions is the 23rd largest nonprofit of any type in the Louisville area. So we're very proud of our team. We're very proud of how it started. We're obviously in a period, just like when we started, of civil unrest. Sometimes the more things change, the more things stay the same. That can be disheartening sometimes, but that's why we get together and show, yes, we do still have problems. We do still have a lot of things going on. We do have things where we still need help, but we want you to know that we're pivoting with the times, and that we um, uh, we are being very flexible and fluid and getting the work done. I'm very proud of our team for that. So as you know, we are 501c3. We are a community development corporation, which does community development and affordable housing work and taking care of our neighbors. And we are a Metro United Way agency. That's because of our after school programs and our resident services programs and what we have with St. Benedict. And then we also are a member of NeighborWorks. Many of you are familiar with that. NeighborWorks is actually a congressionally chartered national organization. Hey, Sherry Rose. And there's about 250 groups like New Directions around the country. There's 5 in Kentucky, 2 in Louisville, Housing Partnership and New Directions. And we are a part of that group. And it really gives us a lot of peer support and also financial support, which we really appreciate. Lots of training, lots of very high quality training with NeighborWorks. We are and have always been rated an exemplary organization. Only about 20% of the organizations that belong to NeighborWorks are rated exemplary. So we're pretty proud of that too. In July of this year, we named a new chair. We named Faith Weekly to serve 2 years as our fearless leader here at New Directions. Faith is a community development expert, and she's a longstanding expert. She has a lot of expertise in this area. So we're very much looking forward to partnering with her and learning from her. She serves 4 states, including Kentucky. Hi, Cassandra Booth. Just did a shout out to NeighborWorks. I hope you saw that. Anyway, Faith is, she has 4 states under her jurisdiction. Kentucky is one of them. Her hometown is Louisville. And so she lives in Louisville. And in addition to being the chair of New Directions, she's really involved in a lot of different organizations around town. She's on the Metropolitan Housing Coalition Board. She is a member of L Home Board, which is our emerging community development financial institution that New Directions is also involved in. It's a CDFI. And she's also spearheading the iRise task force. And you will be hearing more about iRise as the hour goes on. But let's turn it now to Marshall so that he can share Faith Weekly, our new chair, with us.
Hello, my name is Faith Weekly, and this past July, I had the honor of becoming chair of the New Directions Board of Directors. Before joining the board in 2018, I was familiar with the organization and its role in providing affordable housing in a city with a severe housing shortage for those who need it most. When most folks think about West Louisville, they think about poverty, crime, and violence instead of the most important and best asset of the 9 neighborhoods, the residents. I like to think of the staff of New Directions as equity brokers as opposed to community development practitioners. I consider them equity brokers because they are fighting for an equitable amount of resources to redress years of redlining and disinvestment in West Louisville. Safe and affordable housing, in addition to living wage jobs and amenities such as parks, public transit, health care, and grocery stores, create vibrant, inclusive, sustainable neighborhoods that lead to economic resiliency and mobility. This year, I'm excited about the launch of the iRise program that will help residents of New Directions properties be able to improve their economic mobility and quality of life. It is my hope and desire that New Directions will continue to be a leader in developing affordable housing, preserving home ownership, and advancing strategies that increase the economic resiliency and mobility of low to moderate income individuals and households in West Louisville. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for partnering with us.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Faith. As you can tell, we are very excited to have Faith as our chair. She continues a very long tradition of really having great board leadership and board chairmanship, as she has replaced Rosetta Fackler, who had the previous 2 years and also did a great job. I love the term equity brokers, and everyone who sees this video, and we've seen some comments here tonight, but staff who've also seen it in preparation for tonight, every time they hear that from Faith, they kind of suck their breath in. And hearing it again now, I'm thinking maybe I need to change my business card to say Lori Flannery, equity broker. I love that. That's fantastic. So thank you so much, Faith, and thank you for your service to us and sharing your expertise and your time. So in addition to the recording tonight that I said we're going to be sharing on social media, and you'll also get a link for, I want you to look in the mail, because over the coming days, probably after the election, you'll be receiving our updated annual newsletter. And this newsletter will recap a little bit of what we're talking about tonight. And of course, here's your handy dandy donation envelope. So you can have that for your purposes if you want to refer back to anything. And if anyone is on this who does not get a newsletter, please let us know. We'll make sure that you get that as well. If you have been following us over the last year, you will know that we spent some time last year upgrading, and upgrading is probably not even the right word. I'd say updating our brand just to be a little bit fresher. You know, we had the same brand for a long time. And we decided that as we moved back to the California neighborhood that we came out of 50 years ago, that we would do a brand refresh as well. So we worked with Mightily to do that. And you can see that these are the colors. So I had to search into my closet tonight to find colors that would, kind of pull out the brand colors. And we're very happy with those, and they've gotten a great reception. This year, we're taking our dollars, because we don't spend a lot on things like this, but we're working on our website. So this is the second piece of, you update the brand and then you work on the website. So we're working with Mightily with that as well, and we're really getting in there and we're really changing the way we present things and the way we talk about things. So I hope you will look for that. That should definitely be live before the end of this calendar year. And one of the things Mightily did is they employed a photographer. So we have, and we had a ton of pictures of New Directions, obviously, over the years, and we're not getting rid of any of those. They speak a lot to our history and the people that we've served and the people that have been involved with us, and they will always be a part of us. But we had this photographer go around and capture people who are involved with New Directions right now. And I don't even know how many we have. We have hundreds of photos that are available to us to use. You'll start to see those as time goes forward and as our website gets up and going, and we rotate those, and we'll probably put some in our headquarters space. And, and if you know, our headquarters space is at 17th and Maple, which is right adjacent to Heaven Hill, which of course is right next to Brown Foreman with the bottle, to give you an idea of where it is if you haven't been here yet. This is really a happening area that's really kind of catching fire as part of revitalization. One West is really interested in this area for commercial development to be kind of an anchor for West Louisville. And so we're super excited to be a part of it. Hopefully at some point, the Passport/Molina site will get up and going. And if so, New Directions was slated to be a part of that. And hopefully we could have that going forward. In any case, we have a great relationship with the YMCA, the Republic Bank YMCA on Broadway that's right next door. It is directly to our west. And then, as you know, or you may not know, Jefferson County Public Schools is planning to build a new elementary school on the back. So that also will be adjacent to New Directions. And so that's going to be a lot of energy with school kids being there all the time. We're going to have more murals put on our properties, and especially our office headquarters, which we haven't had before. And that'll be something that the parents and the kids can see. When school starts opening in the fall of 2023, we really want to have a placemaking piece of that, and just this is where you are, and this is what's going on right now with the new Y and the new school, the new elementary school. So it's very exciting to see, what's going on around this area. So now I think it's time for our first bourbon pool. We're going to have 4 of these. So this is the first one. They're going to be kind of quarterly. We're playing it by ear, but the idea is to be about every 15 minutes, ending the program with the last and final bourbon pool. So I'm going to turn it over now to David Snyder.
Oh, thank you, Lori. And it's nice to have a combination of some live, some video, and to everybody to be joining us. And here you're correct. We're going to have our first bourbon pull. I have a bottle of Booker's, so True Barrel Bourbon that was donated by Annette Cecil. And we're going to have, Julie's about to pull from those who joined us online and randomly going to select an individual that we're going to award this bottle to. We'll make arrangements after the event so as to connect with you, make sure getting it delivered to you. But with this one as well, there are 4 tumbler glasses that we have. So throughout the evening, we'll do these 4 bourbon pulls, as well as please consider, if you'd like to, you can look at the chat room. You'll see links to our website. Happy to have you join us as a supporter. But here, what do we got? Okay. And Andrew Pleasant. So Julie, thank you very much for the selection. Andrew, you've joined us online. And this bottle here, I'll kind of show it to everybody. I'll show folks during it as we go through, already still in its boxing case. But Andrew is the first winner of our bourbon pull. So congratulations, Andrew. We'll follow up with you after this evening. Yes, so thank you, everybody. We appreciate you being here tonight and joining us. And now we want to go to a live conversation to hear from our Director of Home Ownership Preservation. So Max, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Oh, hello, everyone. My name is Max Monahan. I am the Director of Homeownership Preservation here at New Directions Housing Corporation. So that basically means that I oversee 5 different programs that help existing homeowners with free home repair. These repairs take place in Southern Indiana and in Jefferson County. So 2020 has been kind of a weird year. Due to COVID, we did not have our traditional 1,500 volunteers to partner with us through Repair Affair. But luckily, through some great giving from local foundations, including James Graham Brown, the Geens Foundation, Republic Services, Brown Forman, Caesars Foundation of Southern Indiana, Louisville Metro Government, the City of New Albany, PNC Bank, Fifth Third Bank, Citizens Union Bank, a million other banks, we've been able to actually hire contractors to make needed repairs for our elderly and disabled homeowners of low income. So I just checked the numbers before I came down here, and we have completed 95 jobs to date. And these have been larger repairs compared to traditional Repair Affair, where we've actually done roofs and windows and furnaces and doing some really large scale repairs to help our homeowners. And I would like to take a moment to read a thank you card. This came from an elderly couple that we just helped down in the Chickasaw neighborhood. And they actually addressed it to Teresa. So Teresa Devine, if you don't know, is our Repair Affair coordinator, and she is the lifeblood of the Homeownership Preservation Department. She works with all of our homeowners, organizes all of our volunteers to make sure that we can make these repairs. So she said, Teresa, I'm so thankful for you and New Directions and what you're able to help me and my husband. You've made our lives easier, and our house is now easier to have access to. You are truly an asset to New Directions. Thank you to you and your company. I'm able to go up and down the stairs, and we love our new high-rise toilet because you know I have these terrible knees. Thank you so much, Mrs. S. And she lives down in actually the Chickasaw neighborhood. So these are just some of the things that we're doing this year in this different COVID world that we're living in. Looking forward, I always want to build and do more things. So what we're really focusing on at the end of 2020 and getting into 2021 and going forward is actually offering more services within the Homeownership Preservation Department. One of these is a pilot program that we call Aging in Place. And these are making repairs that are really focused on accessibility repairs for homeowners. These are wheelchair ramps, handicap accessible showers and tubs, grab bars, handrails, all those different types of things. And within this program, we also connect the homeowner to other social service agencies to get them connected with, Meals on Wheels or other social services that they may need so that they can stay in their homes. These are, low-income homeowners who have worked their whole lives to own their homes outright. The ultimate affordable housing is a home that you own outright. and being able to keep these people in their castles. And it is their castle. It's where they want to be. And, they lack the family resources to afford quality, living facilities or nursing homes and things of that matter. So their only option is to age in place. So this program helps them do that. We also have recently started working with the Legal Aid Society, and we're actually helping homeowners with some end of life documents. A lot of our homeowners, they don't have that will in place. And unfortunately, a lot of the vacant and abandoned homes that we see, mainly in West Louisville, if you look at it, there's like 12 heirs to the property. So making sure that we meet these homeowners, we help them with some large scale rehab, making their homes safe, and then we can connect them with legal aid societies so they can get those living wills, so they can leave that home to the next generation of their family. And that's how we can build wealth within these communities and with these families. So let's take another break and I'll read another thank you card. So this is a good one. So this is Mrs. H. She lives down on Cecil, and she came to us. She applied. She had not had heat in her home for 2 years, literally living without heat. She's an 80-year-old woman who lives by herself. So she also sent this to Teresa, because Teresa is the best. She said, "Dear Teresa, just a note to thank you and the Repair Fair staff for blessing me. I'm filled with joy that I can now be warm this winter and cool this summer. Special thanks to Teresa Devine, Mark DeRidinger, and Max Monahan. May God bless you all, Miss H." So that's another good one. We have these stories every day in the HOP department. We're constantly helping these homeowners left and right. Over the last 2 weeks, we've done 7 roofs. We typically don't have that type of production, but due to these wonderful sponsors and the foundations and the donations that have come in, we can actually do some really, really awesome repairs and completely change the life of a homeowner in a day or two. So that's really great. So my kind of personal story, I got involved with New Directions through the Repair Fair program, volunteering when I was like 15 years old, back in like 2005. And, I've been with the company now for almost 10 years, and every day I see the impact that this organization has on the residents who live in our multifamily apartments, on the homeowners that we help, on the community leaders that we assist and help in their revitalization efforts. So I really see the impact that New Directions can have. And it's remarkable. I always like to say, we're a one-stop shop for neighborhood revitalization, and we're changing lives every day. So that's enough for me. So now let's kick it over to some of our other staff members to talk a little bit about their impact and how they see New Directions work impacting the community.
My name is Jasmine Mutes, and I am New Directions Service Coordinator. I simply love helping people, and with New Directions, not only am I able to help people, but I'm able to provide them resources. And in New Directions, not only do we help people, but we are committed to changing lifestyles, and that's what I love about New Directions.
Hello, my name is Gus Thomas. I'm Director of Real Estate Development at New Directions. Over the past 8 years, I have worked in revitalizing neighborhoods and working to build affordable housing. One of the takeaways that I've learned during this time is how important it is to listen to the people we serve in these neighborhoods and to work to understand their needs and wants. It's only then that we will truly begin to learn how to build equitable and affordable housing.
Hello, my name is Stella Hill, and I'm Service Coordinator for New Directions Housing Corporation. I love New Directions because of their mission in helping others, not only with housing, but with the whole person. We give resources and we help change lives. That's the reason I love New Directions.
Okay. My name is Derek Turner. I'm the Director of Maintenance with New Direction Housing Corporation. I've been here for 12 and a half years. What New Direction means to me, multiple things, what it means to me. New Direction means service that I can provide for people in my community. I'm a product of this community. So being able to service people and give them a product that I stand behind and that I love means a lot to me. The people here at New Directions, our team at New Direction, it's like family to me. So it's family oriented. So this is a place that I'm able to come to work every day and feel like I'm around my own people, my family. It makes me proud of what I do, when I do it, and how I do what I do. The people that we serve in this community are like family too. Most of the people that I do serve, I do know somebody in their family. I know of their family. So I take pride in giving a product to them for this community. Because as I stated in the beginning, I'm a product of this community. So I take pride in this community.
Hi, I'm George Sanders, Chief Impact Officer at New Directions. The reason that New Directions is important to me is because I am the second generation product of public housing. Having a program that provided not only quality housing, but also associated wraparound services like after-school educational assistance, job training programs was really important to me. In fact, it dramatically changed the trajectory of my life. And so being able to provide that same level of support to so many others is exactly how I wanted to spend the second half of my work career.
Thank you, Max. Thank you for all the staff for that, sharing a little bit about their story and connection to New Directions. So before we jump into our next segment, I have this second bottle of bourbon. So congratulations on the first one, but here we go. We have our Woodford Reserve. So a bottle here that we have that was donated actually by Kevin Flannery. And it's one of the bottles in commemoration of the Kentucky Derby, number 146. So Julie, if you'll take a moment and take a look at our list of attendees and can then give me a name of someone that is joining us right now. We'll do another poll and then I'll introduce our next segment. Oh, here we go. Madeline Roberts. Madeline Roberts, you're on the line with us. I feel like I'm in going back to my days of watching Romper Room. Madeline, so thank you for joining us out there. We've got this beautiful Woodford Reserve Kentucky Derby bottle, and we'll make sure that we get connected with you. So, and appreciate you joining us. And as you hear from Max talking about the Repair Fair program and the others talking about the meeting of the organization, it's your support and the support of our area businesses and our foundations that have allowed us to continue to have the impact in the community. As we've had to transition and adjust as we've gone through this pandemic and this year, it's exciting to see that individuals have stepped up. And please, you can join us if you haven't already at our website at www.ndhc.org and just click on the Donate Now button. But before we jump into the next segment, it's going to introduce a new program here at New Directions, and we're thankful for our funding partners. We've been able to come into this program because of funding that we've received through our national partner, NeighborWorks America, through their partnership with Fifth Third Bank. So we received grants from the CE&S Foundation here locally, as well as it was launched off with the first support from the LG&E Foundation here in Kentucky, in the Louisville area. So it's been a partnership of individuals, of organizations, businesses, and foundations that have allowed us to jump into this new program, which we're so excited to introduce this evening. And so we're going to go into it. It's called iRise. We have an introductory video that we'll do. It talks about the program, but then we have our COO, Bridget Johnson, and our iRise coach and our coordinator, Alicia, to join us live to talk a little bit about it. And so just also remember, if you have any questions about whether it's Repair Fair, our new launch of our Rise, or other programs here at New Directions, just type them into the chat room. We're monitoring that. We'll bring them out and try to introduce them a little bit into here so we can have some interaction. But again, we like to be able to let you hear a little bit about our new program. So Marshall, if you want to roll our next video segment on iRise. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Bridget Johnson. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for New Directions.
Hello, my name is Alicia Jones. I am the iRise coach for New Directions.
We are so excited to announce the upcoming launch of iRise. New Directions is the first nonprofit to be HUD approved in Kentucky to implement this transformational program. iRise is a family self-sufficiency program that creates economic mobility for our residents. 90% of our residents are Black and nearly 65% are women with children. The iRise program will make a difference. It will help change the cycle of poverty by increasing wealth and home ownership for our residents.
Families entering iRise will work with a coach to develop goals that over a 3 to 5 year period will lead to self-sufficiency. When the family meets its goals, its family becomes eligible to receive funds deposited in an escrow account on the family's behalf during the participation of the program. The amount credited to the family's escrow account is based on increases in earned income during the term of iRise. The goal of iRise is to help change the cycle of poverty for low-income families and communities. In order to successfully complete the program, all household members must be free from dependence on public assistance and welfare support. By assisting families with education, job and training placement, and long-time saving goals, we will move families from assisted living to a financially independent lifestyle.
Over 75% of New Directions' rental portfolio is located in Louisville's West End neighborhoods. These neighborhoods have faced decades of disinvestment and decay as a result of redlining and other forms of systemic racism. Our residents often begin their life in poverty with little chance of breaking out of the cycle. They face an incredible uphill climb and obstacle course in their daily path, with many having little choice but to settle for survival rather than success. Through your support, we will be able to move our residents in a new direction towards self-sufficiency and independence.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Alicia. And I know you're joining us live from your offices as we all continue to work some in our remote locations. I really appreciate seeing that video in the clip. Well, let me kick it off with a couple of questions for you that we've got here. And one of them is, Bridget, you were just talking a little bit about it in the sense of the challenges of the residents. And what are some of those challenges that residents have when it comes to finding work or going back to school? And then you mentioned support, but then how can we help was one of the questions that we have.
Okay, so some of the challenges that our residents have to overcome if they're going back to school or if they're increasing their income is what New Directions has termed the benefit cliff. All right, so if our residents are increase their income, then their subsidy and things that they're using to support their family also decreases. So then it's like, it's not an incentive for them to continue to increase their income because they have no support to help them overcome this benefit cliff. And that's what iRise is all about. It is about absolutely, we want you to increase your income. We want to help you through the barriers of increasing your income, which could be, education, job retention, health services, alcohol and drug prevention services, mentoring, home ownership counseling, childcare. So all of these different barriers that someone who is experiencing extremely low or low income, this program wraps around them and supports them financially as they increase their income. And HUD is also in support of us honoring our residents because as their income increases, their rent will also increase. But that amount that it increases by, the resident absolutely has to pay that rent. But the government takes a part of that and puts it into an escrow account for them. So as they are paying more rent, this account is building up on their behalf. In 3 to 5 years, best practices is for our resident will have about $5,000 of funds that they can take onto their new path, which is no subsidy. right? They are going into home ownership, they are going into market rate housing or market rate apartments, whatever their choice may be. So how can you all help support the program, right? We need funds in order to help our residents overcome the barriers that they may encounter as they change their path, as they break this cycle of poverty. I was telling someone the other day, just like wealth is passed down, poverty is also passed down from generation to generation, right? So this iRise is a first step for a family of New Directions, one of our family members, for us to say, come, let us take your hand as you walk along this new path, and we will financially support you as much as we can with the help of our partners to overcome these barriers.
Thank you. You know, one of the challenges oftentimes you see is that emergencies come up within a family in a situation, and whether it's in a homeowner or you're in a rental situation where, you know, a $300, $500 emergency situation can really put you underwater for a while, and it's
Right.
tough to. So what happens in an emergency situation with a resident or somebody in the program, and are they able to access those funds? Or talk a little bit more about how specifically then they're accessed or applied, or at what point would they have access to those funds?
So they will have access to their funds with probably within a year once they are enrolled in the program. But I always say, so this program has been offered by Public Housing Authority for 20 years, right? So I always say nonprofits do it better, right? So not only will they have this fund after a year that they can also do an interim disbursement from, New Directions plans to have some type of discretionary fund to help immediately if there's a child care, if there's a medical, if there's a transportation. So again, which is why we're here asking for your help, right? So we need to build this fund, because absolutely there's food needs, there's Pampers, there's basic, soap and cleaning supplies. So we are going to wrap around each one of our residents that sign up for this program. Right now, per our participants, we have 641, I think, eligible families. And my goal in the next 2 years is have each one of those families enrolled in this program, right? Why not? Their housing is not in jeopardy, right? They will remain in their subsidized housing. They will have that support that will not go away as we walk them, help them, lead them, jump with them into this new path.
And I don't think I heard of it, maybe I missed it, but how much is it that someone might be able to set aside or save up during this period of time? And what happens if they become unemployed and they're not able to continue working, or something like right now with the pandemic and individuals have an interruption in their life? What might take place?
So your first question is how much, right? So at the end of 3 to 5 years, the average is about $5,000. As a nonprofit, we plan to fundraise around that $5,000 for each one of our families. So they maybe graduate with $10,000 or $1,000 guarantee for the next 2 or 3 years for our families to truly help them break and sustain this cycle of poverty. And what was your next question, David?
It has to do with when they run into periods like now in the pandemic, when we had to shut down and there was unemployment, that all of a sudden impacts them. How does that impact them as they're working through the program?
So I want to say, and I New Directions, absolutely, this program is been implemented and launched by us, but we have such great partners in our community that will be able to help us continue to wrap around our residents in those needs, in the time of needs, when it's needed most greatly, right? We have Goodwill, Dress for Success, Norton Healthcare, we're thinking about Jewish Family and Career Services. So many different organizations, some of our board members, Anitra, Allen, Tara Level. So we have so many individuals that we are building a resource center for our residents in order to help them through these trying times. So we will not turn them away. They will have someone that will be able to help and lead them to overcome their barriers.
And someone had asked, you know, are there volunteer opportunities, or are there other group task force? Are there committees, or those that are able have been able to step forward, or that could assist in some way? And what might be some of those opportunities? And then just anything from either of you as to other description of things you'd like to talk about in the program.
So Alicia, would you like to chime in? All the above, right? So we have
Yes.
all the above.
All the above. We are currently right now creating the job descriptions for volunteers. That's the great thing about this program, is the mentorship. We want to empower our residents and let them know that even regardless of where they're at, we're meeting them where they're at. And as Bridget said, holistically wrapping around them in support and helping them rise to the next elevated state of their life and get to that economic mobility where they can be self-sufficient. So in regards to the volunteers, yes, iRise, we are accepting volunteers. We are looking for our board members to volunteer. We're looking for community partners to volunteer, people that are professionally sound and can give back and give vital information and support to our residents that right now may see a dimming of hope, but for you can give them that empowerment to say, hey, you know, we can get through this, you know. So we are definitely accepting volunteers. The more, the merrier. In order to volunteer, you would just need to contact us. There is a process you would have to go through, but as I said, right now, my staff here at Resident Services and my directors and I, we're coming together to create that, because the more, the merrier.
Thank you, Alicia. So, and it's one of those, if you want to, Alicia, in the chat room, if you want to put an email contact for individuals that have an interest in volunteering, please feel free to do that for folks. But folks, if you have an interest in the program and want more details, you know, we certainly want you to be able to reach out to Alicia and or Bridget. So Bridget, is there anything else you want to comment on before we move on to our next bourbon? Oh,
I would just like to say thank you in advance for all of your support. And just to know that New Directions is so committed to our residents. We always have been and always will be. And I just look forward to sharing all the success stories that iRise will have. Like, I am so excited, and thank you all so very much in advance for your support.
Well, congratulations on launching and having an incredible program. And you probably said it back at the beginning, but it is New Directions is the first nonprofit in Kentucky to have been awarded this type of a program by HUD. So yeah. Congratulations on that. Yeah. I know that you and your team have been working to pull this together, and it's exciting to begin to see you reach out to the residents. And from my understanding, there's also, you've been working with the Miley Group, who's been doing our website and our look to kind of have an image. So we look forward to seeing that image out there. And of course, as Lori mentioned back at the beginning, when you receive your newsletter, there is an article in the newsletter that talks about the launch of iRise and gives you additional information and detail. But that's part of what your support, your donations, your grants, your business funding for New Directions and the programs we have, whether it's in the repair fair and the homeowner repairs, or it's assisting our residents in rising, the iRise aspect of it. We appreciate you making donations, your gifts. You could do it on a monthly basis. You could do it one time at the end of the year. You can do it now. When you see the newsletter, you'll have an envelope in it. We try to make it very easy and simple to donate. We certainly appreciate all of your support and contributions, not just currently, but over the years, as New Directions has been in existence for 50 years, and we continue to pivot and change with the times as are needed. So as we move into our next bourbon and our bourbon pull and segment, Julie, if you want to take a look at who's online and see what we have for selection, we want to do it as random as possible from individuals that have joined us this evening. And of course, carrying the tradition forward with some nice bourbon, we have Maker's Mark 101. So that we're going to be pulling and giving off in this next round. And Emily Johnson. Emily Johnson's with us online. So Emily, congratulations. You're the recipient of our third bourbon as we do our bourbon pull. When we were setting this up and beginning the bourbon pull, I said that, you know, in these days and times of the pandemic and coming up on our election, that the rarest bourbon is the unopened bourbon. So we have here one of those rarest bourbons you will find. It is unopened, but we'll make sure we get that to Emily. We really appreciate you being here this evening. And so now we want to take it on into our next segment, and I'm going to kick it back over to Lori, our CEO and president. And Lori, appreciate your insights and sharing, and I'll let you go forward.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. So hello again, everyone. What a great event that we're having so far this evening for our annual fundraiser and virtual update. I really appreciate all the presenters that you have seen so far and that you'll see between now and the end of the hour, and all of the participants. I've seen some of the comments, which are great. Thank you, Kurt and Elizabeth and Alice and Joe. Joe noticing Derek's saying he says he had something on his chin that I'm not sure Joe had seen before. So anyway, it's just wonderful seeing everyone. I would like now to introduce a video from one of the partners that we've been working with at New Directions over the last couple of years. Marshall, would you please introduce Alice Bridges?
Hi, I'm Alice Bridges. Why do I support New Directions? I believe it is essential for everybody to have safe, affordable housing as the foundation for good health. I have everything I need to be healthy and thrive, and I think it's important for everybody to have those same resources. New Directions is committed to making our community better, not only to giving people affordable housing, but to bring the resources together that they need: transportation, access to good food, work, education, and connection to one another. That's why I'm such a fan of New Directions.
Thank you, Alice. So Alice is a senior, she has been for a long time, a senior level health sector executive in the Louisville area. And she's very well known. She's also been a downtown Rotary president at one point. She's very much an expert in her field and also a connector, which is really important. As you know, New Directions is really interested in collaborating with people as we can so that we can amplify our resources to help the same people. We've all got the same clients. And it's just better, I think, when we can work together and we're aligned. So Alice has formed her own firm where she provides expertise to different groups. We have started working with Alice. She has helped us in our path to secure more resources to combine the health and housing aspect of what New Directions has always done. New Directions has always been about more than affordable housing. We consider affordable housing to be foundational, and the people in the health sector consider the health of people to be foundational in order to thrive. And so we have been trying to figure out ways that we can work together. Some of you all that are on the call tonight have been involved in this effort. If you haven't, just to let you know, the first thing that we did with Alice was we received a Robert Woods Johnson grant in 2019, and last year and into the spring, we had about 100 people around Louisville that we brought into this process to learn from Columbus and Nationwide Children's Hospital. They have been known for about 10 years now for the work that they've done, where they have tried to elevate the health of the children that they serve by investing in the neighborhoods and in the homes and in the families where those children live. And they have been very successful in improving the health of the children they serve, and they have also really revitalize the disinvested areas around them, areas that look a lot like some of the disinvested areas that we have in Louisville. So we've tried to figure out a way to pattern ourselves in Louisville after the successes of Columbus. And we do believe that there will be ongoing conversations. Well, there are ongoing conversations, and there will be more potential fruit to come from that exercise. This year in 2020, Alice helped us on getting a Kresge grant, and we were one of 5 community development corporations, or maybe equity brokers, I should say, around the nation that are being led through this grant to gain expertise on how to build our capacity, how to speak the language, how to talk to the healthcare sector so that they understand what we bring to the table and what they can bring to the table and how we can work together, whether it's something as simple as having them come to our housing and provide services, or us being able to connect better to mental health and physical health resources that are in the community. You know, transportation is often an issue. Childcare is often an issue for accessing healthcare. Technology is often an issue, not understanding what you might have access to. But there are even health sector providers and insurance companies around the country, you know, that have put hundreds of millions of dollars into actually strengthening the affordable housing piece of it. They understand that having a safe, decent, and affordable place to live is so important. You really can't have a healthy life without having that. And so they've actually invested in the housing itself. So we're not sure exactly where this is going to land yet, but it's very exciting working with Alice. And I definitely wanted to highlight our relationship so you could understand that this is a big part of the strategy going forward. One of the things that really caught my attention when I took this position and assumed that I took the baton from Joe Gleasoner, my predecessor, is the disparities and how segregated that we really are in Louisville. I raised my children in Louisville, but I'm from Frankfort, and I worked in state government for most of my career before I came here. So I focused some on Louisville, but I focused mostly on the state. And it wasn't really until I took this role that I understood how segregated we really are. One of the things I love about Louisville is the fact that we are a city and a community of neighborhoods. People are very proud. It's one of the first things: where'd you go to school? What neighborhood do you live in? Where'd you grow up? People are very proud of that, and that's wonderful. That's not really something I had coming from Frankfort. And, you know, even Lexington isn't like that, which is where I went to school. But at the same time, we can become too insulated in those neighborhoods and too separate from each other. And I think that's happened to us, right? And because of that, there's huge areas that have really been disinvested in our community. One of the statistics that's always shocked me was something that was published by the Greater Louisville Project. And if you know anything about that, that's been around for over 15 years now. It's a research arm that is funded in the collective by the area foundations. They've come together and they said the foundations want to make sure that we give money in the best way possible. And one way to do that is to neutrally fund a research arm that will tell us about our community. And so they study something different every year. But I believe as it was in 2017, the Greater Louisville Project looked at the health and the equity disparities in our community. And on average, if you reside in the west end of Louisville, your life expectancy is on average 12 years less than it is if you live in the east end, which is shocking to me that you could be a mile or 2 miles apart and have that different of a living situation. And I recently heard on a chamber webinar, which is, you know, and of course in Louisville is GLI, Greater Louisville Inc., a local physician who's been tapped to be an equity executive for one of our local hospitals. And he was describing that information in a way that really resonated with me. He said, you know, in Louisville, it's your zip code instead of your DNA code that determines your own personal life expectancy. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But one of the most important reasons is whether people have access to safe, decent, and affordable housing. And so we're going to spend the next little bit here working with Alice, working with other partners, and really figuring out how New Directions can be a part of the answer in solving that. Now, this doesn't stray from what we're doing. This actually complements, right, our core businesses and lines of businesses and things that we've been doing, because we've always been about more than just the affordable housing piece of it. But the affordable housing piece of it is our core business. We would not be New Directions if it was not for our affordable core. Affordable Housing Corps. So I don't want it to be all bells and whistles and new stuff and pivoting and new programs today without recognizing that the reason we're able to do that and the reason we were able to go to the next level is because all of the work that's come before me, all of the work that has come before me has created this incredible portfolio that we have, created us as being the 23rd largest nonprofit of any kind in the Louisville area. We have over 900 families that we serve in our rental portfolio, and they're very diverse. As you know, we're not like some apartments or some groups that say, oh, that's this and that's that. You can't tell a lot of times what New Directions is. We're very diffuse. We have over 100 buildings, a lot of single family, duplexes, fourplexes, smaller things. Our largest is Russell Apartments. It's directly across the street from the African American Heritage Center in Russell neighborhood, another pivotal area for development. It has 82 or 83 units. That's our largest. It's a converted school. But if you look at our portfolio, you'll see babies, you'll see 95-year-olds. If you were going to look at the typical person who lives in our housing, the average person, it would be a Black woman in her early 20s. She would make about $10,000 a year in some type of income, and she would have 2 or 3 children, right? So about 40% of our portfolio are Louisvillians under the age of 18, and about 20% of our portfolio are seniors. So that gives you kind of an idea of the portfolio. And this health and housing piece of it is really just going to augment what we do and how we serve that affordable housing portfolio. You may also know that in 2016, New Directions took on something that was really outside of our bailiwick and taking over the leadership, along with their own board, of St. Benedict Early Childhood Education Center. And this is located in the California neighborhood as well. So a long time, great reputation, but it had fallen on hard times. And the enrollment of children had gone way down below what it's licensed for the state. And there were issues associated with the financial stability of it and some of the governance. So Metro United Way asked New Directions if we would take it over. It's located on the same campus as our Brandeis Apartments, which is one of our signature properties as well, another converted school. We thought long and hard about it, and the board of directors said, yes, let's go for it. And there have been some harrowing times because we weren't sure always that we were going to have the resources to be able to make this a go. But I am incredibly pleased to report to you here in 2020 that St. Benedict's is going strong. We have an excellent director in Felicia Alfred. We have an excellent board chair in Adam Hall. We have great partners and great board that are helping us stabilize and take this to the next level. And we were lucky enough in 2020 to be able to have a partnership with the Greater Louisville Head Start. And that is just already paying incredible dividends. We were able to close on that arrangement before we had to mandatorily shut down because of the pandemic. There was governor's orders for all child care centers. That actually ended up being a blessing in disguise because we were able to really come in and physically improve the property in conjunction with Head Start, 4Cs, and Family and Children's Place in Louisville. So it's beautiful, it's refurbished. The downtown Rotary had already started and had invested in a natural playground at St. Benedict's. And all of this from Head Start is really just building on that. But not only that, and not only are the Head Start kids getting the highest level of education that they can at this age in their lives, but their parents get unbelievable support. And so during the pandemic and during these scary times and during the time that they weren't able to go to St. Benedict's to get this, the Head Start people were going to the homes of the families and the children and providing supplies and educational things and things that would just help them get through this very difficult time. So the timing could not have been better, and it's just so exciting to me to be able to report on this real success story. And I really just can't wait, to see what the future holds for St. Benedict. Both New Directions and St. Benedict were really unsure at the beginning of the pandemic what this was going to mean for us. It is because the federal government came out with the PPP, or the Payroll Protection Program, that we were able to access through Independence Bank of Louisville that really helped solidify us. That was a scary time. It was really hard to understand who was going to be able to get those resources and who wasn't. And Independence Bank really stood up for us and shepherded us through very proactively, and those resources have stabilized both of our organizations in addition to other things we've gotten access to from Metro Government and NeighborWorks and some of the philanthropic community. So thank you so much for all of you that helped us get through this, and it helped us get our PPE, very important for people who provide essential services to the most vulnerable residents that we have in our community. So anyway, thank you very much. We, of course, enjoy incredible relationships anyway with our banking community and have for a very long time. So a shout out to all of them. The future looks bright for New Directions, as you can tell, and it really is in no small part to the people who are watching this right now. We were able, as you heard from Max earlier today, in preserving home ownership to continue that, even though the pandemic made it near impossible to utilize many volunteers, maybe, small groups of volunteers for exterior work, but nothing like the 250 families we normally help. James Graham Brown and Gein's Foundations really stood up for us. It has made all the difference. We are really making a difference. And it's not only helping us not miss a year when staying healthy at home is more important than ever, but it's allowing us to do higher quality and deeper types of repairs for people. I have had, as part of my personal goals and for New Directions, that part of what we would do is workforce development when we could. I have an economic development background, and I know how important that can be in sustaining families and helping them break the cycle of poverty. And because we've received this foundational funding, we have been able to really focus on building our relationships with minority contractors and contractors that are in the West End. And we're never going to let those relationships go. We're going to help build capacity and help those small businesses and entrepreneurs build their businesses and help us help our own families. And then when the pandemic is over and we're able to use our volunteers again, we'll now have two lines and two ways of helping these families. And so it's just going to get better and better. So we really, really, really appreciate what we've got from them. Most of you know that Repair Fair is great because you're repairing a house for a homeowner. And that is true. You're keeping people from being maybe in a higher level of care that would be more expensive to the community. Most people want to stay at home anyway. You're preserving an asset for them that if you don't preserve it at a certain point will just continue to devolve. That makes it more likely that it will become a vacant or abandoned property. And we already have too much of that in Louisville. It also makes it potentially a problem for people to come in and try to get your house and flip it. So we think of it as a potential anti-gentrification tool as well. And as West Louisville is built up, we will be able to target Repair Fair in those neighborhoods where houses are being rehabbed and built and sold. And we'll be able to keep people who want to live in those neighborhoods in those neighborhoods. So it is wonderful. And I see that I'm going over my time. So in closing, I would like now to turn it over to Marshall so that he can show some of our board of directors. We'll have our final bourbon pool after that, and then we'll wave goodbye and say thank you all for joining us.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Rao, and I'm a realtor at RE/MAX 100. I became involved with the New Directions Board about a year ago. I met Lori Flannery, the CEO, at an event, and her passion around housing and helping our neighbors here in the Louisville community was through the roof, no pun intended. I was really inspired to become involved with New Directions, and I'm so thankful to serve alongside such dedicated and hardworking individuals for this very worthy cause. I hope that you will join me in helping to make home more of a reality for our neighbors here in town. When folks have a home, that's just the first step to success. Please donate to New Directions today.
Hello, my name is Adam Hall, and I am the Community and Economic Development Manager for Fifth Third Bank, Kentucky, and I'm excited to share with you some of the reasons why I am a supporter of New Directions Housing Corporation and St. Benedict's Center. First of all, St. Benedict's Center is an amazing place for young people to develop a lifelong curiosity and desire to learn while becoming kindergarten ready and to be successful in their educational careers. For New Directions, it's much more than just housing. It's about families being able to create dreams for the futures of their children It's also about repair affair, where elderly and disabled people are able to have essential home repairs made so they can stay in their home. It's about building community. And so that is why I am excited to support New Directions Housing Corporation, and I hope you will join me in sharing your time, talent, and treasure with them.
Hi, I'm Tricia Burke. I'm the Impact Giving Leader at Habitat for Humanity of Metro Louisville, and I'm a new member of the New Directions Board of Directors. I support New Directions because what they do with providing housing, what they do in educating the tenants, how they also work with the entire family, and also the repair affair makes it well worth the investment. I support New Directions. I hope you will too.
Hi, my name is Telly Sellers. I'm the Associate Vice President of Technical Education at Jefferson Community and Technical College, and I'm a recent brand new board member at New Directions. The reason I got involved is because one of the pillars of New Directions is education, because we all know students and individuals will not be successful in education, right, if they don't have a healthy, safe, and warm place to live. That's why I'm on the board and why I support New Directions.
Hi, Alan and Sherry Steinbach here with you. We support New Directions. They've done great work for 50 years in the affordable housing area. I have lots of experience for 20 years at the board level. And we do also support financially as best we can to help provide affordable housing that's so important. Won't you join us also in helping New Directions during the coming year?
Well, thank you, Lori. Thank you, everybody, for joining in this evening, for certainly all of your support, for your contributions, for your assistance in providing this update and overview of New Directions, where we've been in this last year and things that we're moving ahead to in the future. But as I mentioned, we do have our last bourbon poll here. So Julie, just as we're wrapping up here, what do we have? I've got one more bottle. I've got Angel's Envy. So here as our last unopened bottle of bourbon. And Julie, who do we have on the line? We have Vernon Foster. Vernon Foster has been picked. Vernon, congratulations. You know, I've got now 4 options of, as I deliver, of places I might be able to do some sampling and taste testing as I head out. But we certainly appreciate you all participating and being here this evening. And again, please feel free to go to our website and click on the donate button. But we certainly do appreciate your support. Appreciate you participating and being here and sharing this with you this evening. I thank all of our presenters and those that have been on the panel, all of our video clips, and everyone that submitted something. And so just everybody have a great rest of your evening. I know from all the panelists, it's just a wave and a so long. So thank you all very much. We appreciate your support and help. And we'll be sure to look ahead to the future in our ongoing updates. So thank you very much.